Well, good evening, hello, and hi to everyone. Welcome to LD Madeira Magic. As always, I am your host and your magical friend, LD, and this is the fourth episode of the Full Moon Fright Club. This is where me and a couple of friends get to review some titles from the classic company Full Moon Features. Thank you so much for being here. I really appreciate you being here, and we're going to have a great time tonight. We're going to be talking about two films from Full Moon. We're going to be looking at Crash and Burn and The Haunted Casino. So if this is your very first time here, welcome. Happy to have you here. And if you're having a good time, please do like and subscribe. It definitely helps the channel, helps the algorithm, and helps me. And I'm sure in some ways, it probably helps you as well. This is actually my first video here on the channel after a couple of months. I've been on a little bit of a hiatus, but I'm back. And we're gonna be having a great party today. Now, of course, I am not here alone. I'm joined by three other friends who are long-standing members of the Full Moon Fright Club. Let's go ahead and introduce each one by one. First of all, the mastermind behind this Full Moon Fright Club. You know him, you love him, you can't live without him. He is the one, he is the only Master Chaos. Hey there, MC.
What's up? I got my eggnog. I'm ready to rock and roll, man. I'm excited.
Did you make that eggnog yourself?
Kind of. I mean, I poured rum into it from a store-bought. So, yeah, I kind of made it myself. Yeah.
Okay, cool. All right. And also joining us, another long-standing member of the Full Moon Fright Club. He is the one, he is the only, Tracker Chaos. Hey there, Tracker.
What's up, man? How you going, guys?
Hey.
Doing good. How's things been with you, my friend?
Good. They're coasting.
Good. Nothing like a good coast.
Yep.
And last but definitely not least, she is an amazing lady. And when you see her, you start asking yourself, what did I just watch? And you're saying that because that's the name of her YouTube channel. She is the amazing Lady Shasha. Hello there, Shasha.
Hello.
Hey.
I don't have a drink other than water, but I did get a cool Christmas cup. It says,
there you go.
Gnome for the holidays.
Nice.
Well, it is the holidays. It is December. I can't believe we're in December already. That just came quick, didn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
Absolutely. And it's going to fly before we know it. I mean, we're going into like the first real week. School's over for my kids. Well, one more week of school and then school's over. And then it's just a madness of the holidays. So, yeah, this is technically our Christmas episode. So, interesting choices for Christmas. But yeah.
Can I return one of them?
No.
We'll get to that. We'll definitely get to that. Yeah. All right. So before we get into the movie, since this is my channel, of course, I have to present you all with a little bit of magic. So I'll present you all with one quick thing. Now, this is something that you are going to have to pay close attention to. So I got this quarter right here. You're about to see a disappearing act, everybody. Now, you can see that there's nothing funny about the quarter whatsoever. And in case there's any doubts, you can see that there's nothing, no strings, no magnets, no devices whatsoever.
Okay.
Okay, folks, here we go. Get ready for the disappearing act. It's going to happen in 1, 2, 3. Okay, you guys look a little confused.
Yeah.
Who remembers what I said in the beginning? What did I say in the beginning of this?
Keep a close eye.
I'm sorry. I have ADHD. I was never going to get that question right.
Actually, I honestly didn't realize you were on the show today.
Well, what I said was you have to pay attention, folks.
Yeah.
Because you see, it's not the coin that disappears; it's the phone that disappears.
Oh,
that deserves a round of applause. I don't know how you did that.
Very good.
Thank you very much.
Mr.
Well, now that we've started things on a happy note, why don't we go ahead and get right to our first full moon film? We are going to begin with the movie Crash and Burn. And for those who have not seen it, we're going to go ahead and enjoy the trailer for Crash and Burn, just so everyone who may have not seen it gets a little taste of the film that we're going to be talking about.
Let's do it.
In the year 2035, a corporate power will rule our nation with terror. Using a secret army of synthetic humans, they will destroy all who oppose them. But a small outpost of rebels will fight their killing machine. By reviving a weapon from their past, they will wage the final battle for our future. Crash and burn.
It puts a lot of emphasis on that damn robot. Jesus.
It really does. It really does. I'm going to go ahead and open the IMDb page. It is Crash and Burn from 1990. Synopsis is Unicom is a powerful organization overseeing most of the world after its economic collapse. It is directed by Charles Band, written by J.S. Cardone, and starring Paul Gannis, Megan Ward, and Ralph Waite. All right, so why don't we go ahead and jump right into our review? So why don't we start, as always, with Master Chaos. Master Chaos, why don't you go ahead and give us your review of Crash and Burn?
I will. All right. Look at my notes here real quick. This was pretty fun sci-fi slasher with elements of 10 Little Indians, Transformers, and The Thing. I'm not gonna read this whole thing. I'll just reference things here. One thing I really liked about this movie is that it goes out of its way to build a mythology for the world. This isn't just, set in some, industrial wasteland kind of thing. It's not like, they filmed that in the third act of RoboCop. They just went to that place and filmed there. This was they really tried to make a fully realized sci-fi world. The ozone layer was messed up. There was radiation. All that kind of stuff was in play. People had to avoid the sun. There were storms. There was some kind of government in power. This is talk of robots being outlawed at one point. So there was a lot of mythology in the movie, which I think goes far into making this lack of a better word, if you're not making it a stupid piece of shit, because it tries to give you a world. Now, the best sci-fi makes you feel like these are characters from a world that actually feels lived in. Blade Runner, things like that. Alien, it feels like these guys live in this environment. Everything feels dirty and not like it just came out of wardrobe or a costume shop and things like that. So giving this a mythology, giving us a real sci-fi world, like, there was probably stories that happened beyond this adventure, makes this feel part of a whole instead of just feels like the random thing done in somebody's backyard, which we've seen plenty of those, not in this thing, but in general. So I really appreciate that they built a sci-fi, as fully realized as possible, a sci-fi world, a sci-fi mythology for the movie. It is a simple story. People trapped in a place being hunted down. It is a slasher movie. It is a whodunit, for most of the movie. And it also has elements of The Thing, which I really liked. Especially one scene really plays off of that a little bit. But it is. Was that?
And the twist too.
Well, yeah. Which I guess we'll go into spoilers on our second rounds, but we'll try. We'll try to skirt around it for now. I really think this is probably one of the best scripts Full Moon's ever had, because it is a simple concept, but I think everybody works together to make it a really interesting and refreshing thing. And again, I go back to the fact that they really strive to make this a real world. They tried to make this feel like hard science fiction, and I appreciate that. It could have been just a simple people. Oh, it's the future. We're stuck in this industrial complex. But there's more there. There's layers there. There's a lot of stuff going on. There's things on the news. Like, they didn't have to do that. That takes effort. That takes time. That takes brain power. And I feel like they were setting up a sequel. At least it certainly feels like that when we get to the end. Like there's more to this story. Unfortunately, we didn't get a sequel, but I do think setting this simple story in a fully realized world makes it more interesting than it would have normally been if it was just a bunch of morons getting killed in a building. And I've seen tons of movies like that. There's a Italian movie which obviously doesn't bode well to its quality. When in the sci-fi, the B genre, I'm blanking on the name of the movie right now. It'll come to me, but it's basically people in a warehouse being hunted. But that movie's devoid and empty of anything. It just feels so flat. It just feels like a product, like a a bastardized product. This feels like a fully realized movie, and I think that impressed me most than anything. That it is able to deliver, for the most part, interesting characters with interesting backstories, and a mythology that just kind of added to the flavor of the movie. So that, this has always been a favorite of mine, but I liked revisiting it and realizing why. I think it leans too heavy on the robot stuff at the end, especially that trailer sort of makes it look like it's a robot battle movie, and it's really not. But I know Charlie Band had a hard on for robots, so maybe that's why. That's my initial thoughts.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. Tony Man 100 says, after watching this movie, I was hoping my laptop did like the title.
Oh wow! Okay.
So not everyone, I guess, shares your enthusiasm for it.
All right.
And a little quick shout out to Mr. Dan in Horror. Hey guys, and Tony Man.
What's up, man?
Hey, Mr. Dan in Horror. Good to see you. All right, let's now head on over to Tracker Chaos. Tracker, what have you got to say about Crash and Burn?
No, I agree with MC. I think it's one of the, I guess, few really well-rounded full moon movies. Definitely is one of the earlier movies that they put out, and one of my earlier favorites as well. I'm a sucker also for like anything with cyborgs and stuff like that, so that already got me into it. And I know, MC, you didn't really mention it, but there's another reason why you like that, and that's
oh yes, I was Megan Ward. Oh, yeah, amazing, yeah. Fantastic, yeah.
And it's funny because she says in the movie she's 16, and they don't always play the age, and she was like 20, 21 when she did that.
Yeah. Oh sure. So, I mean, yeah. Science fiction.
But yeah. But yeah, it would have been great if they made a sequel, because it definitely leaves it open. And unfortunately nowadays, the way the full moon is gone, it's not gonna happen. And I don't think I'd want it to, with the way they're making things now. But one thing that I found enjoyable that I didn't realize when I saw it originally was the actor who played Quinn, right? Is that the name? The cyborg?
Oh yeah.
At the time, I didn't know who it was, and then afterwards, I realized it was Bill Moseley, which I thought was really cool. And it's funny because I know I've seen this movie maybe like 3 or 4 times, but I feel like I've seen it more, and I think it's because they would always show the clips from this movie like in the video zones and stuff, and I feel like I've seen the movie like 150 times. But I definitely enjoyed this movie big time. Yeah. Cool.
All right, Lady Shasha, what have you got to say about Crash and Burn?
I think the best thing about this movie is the effects and I should say effects and gore, because I'm a sucker for any movie where someone gets their arm ripped off. That makes my day. But also, I respect the car stunts. There was a car stunt where a man was literally on the hood of the car, and the way the car was bouncing around and kind of on this like incline going this way, it looks so dangerous for a movie that I imagine the budget is not too big for, but that really stood out to me. Also, one of the best kills was, sorry, I'm a horror head. I'm going to focus a little bit more on the horror than the sci-fi, although I do like the sci-fi elements and some of the things that they predicted in the future, like how the teacher was teaching online, basically.
Yeah.
But
I remember those things, yeah.
The way Homegirl was killed in the shower, chef's kiss.
The shower scene was my favorite scene as well.
Yes.
I gotta agree, that was my favorite kill in the movie.
Oh, the kill was good too.
Cool. All right. And last but not least, yours truly. I have mixed feelings about the film. And it's for a couple of reasons. I liked that it doesn't do what a lot of post-apocalyptic films do, where they give you that whole caption in the beginning that says, "It's the year 2030 and the ozone layer has been destroyed." I like that we were discovering that together along with the film. That did appeal to me a lot. At the same time, I kind of felt like it took a while for us to get anywhere, you know? And I also kind of feel like, for me, I feel like there's a lot that I was missing here. In fact, I almost thought the way this film played out, I thought maybe that this was a sequel. And so I had to look it up, and no, it's not a sequel at all. You know, I feel like there's more things that I would have liked to see. Like, I would have liked to see more of the Omnicom Corporation, and kind of like to see more of their involvement. Yeah. I would have liked to see more things with the synthezoids, because I think that's an interesting thing. I like the synthezoid that we got. It was cool that you think he's on your side, but he's not. I kind of described him as Terminator with a sense of humor. But I enjoyed it, and I enjoyed that. I enjoyed the kill in the shower scene. I thought that was really cool, and I liked the little twist at the end that TC alluded to, which we may or may not get to. We'll see. I wouldn't say that I loved it, but because I think there was a lot more that I would have liked to see. I did like the big robot at the end. But yeah, when you look at the trailer, and even when you look at the movie poster, you're expecting this to be, as MC said, like a big robot blowout. But we get the big robot at the very, very end. Effects wise, I was very impressed by that. I was also very impressed by that car stunt. So I agree with that. So for a low budget film, I was impressed with what they were able to pull off. So yeah, I mean, I have mixed feelings about it. You know, I mean, I wanted to really love it, but I ended up just kind of liking it. So
how did you feel about the pacing? I feel like some scenes kind of went on for longer than they needed to.
Yeah, I agree with you. I feel like they could have been wrapped up a lot quicker, but instead they just elongated a lot of these scenes. I mean, the actors I thought did a fine job. I mean, Megan Ward, I mean, she pretty much does great in anything that she does. But yeah, I mean, I felt like the pacing could have been a little bit quicker. And again, it's like 50 minutes before we really see stuff start to rev up. And maybe that's just because how I am. I don't mind when a film takes its time if it's done in a way that's good and really, you know, gets you into the story. I did have fun with the I forget the name of the character, but the guy who owned the who was the host of his talk show, the basically
yes.
Yeah,
him and the two prostitutes, they were like committing to their dialogue. So like, it was so good. I was like, this acting is almost too good for this movie.
Yeah, like the two are the ones that deserve the Oscar. And I did enjoy. I did get a little bit of a laugh in the beginning scene at the gas station where they close up on the calendar and it says, "There's two things I like to ride, and one of them's a Harley."
Yeah,
that gave me a little bit of a chuckle there. And I also thought I did think it was cool how it begins and ends at that gas station. So that's like a cool thing to do. I like how we go back to where we started. I like when films do that. But yeah, that's my overall impression of Crash and Burn. So with all of our reviews in, why don't we go ahead and start with our official ratings? So we'll start as we started before with MC. MC, how many moons do you give Crash and Burn?
Well, let me give my final thoughts on it, and then I'll do the thing. But it's funny that both movies at the 50-minute mark is really when it gets going. I was clocking that because I felt like it was like, oh, now's when it's a movie. Oh, I see. Okay, so they all sort of hit around the same time. And yeah, I really like the garage gas station place because I felt that felt really real, and there's a lot of things in there, that I find interesting. As a director, there's little bits and pieces that are given to an actor that if you just feel like they were inserted to really make that person feel alive, like that. Where I don't remember his name, but the crazy dude who comes out, he goes, "Oh, are you Batman?" Like just little things like that are so interesting. And the way he goes, okay, yes, sir. You know, like all that kind of little stuff. I really like that because that made him feel so unique. The guy had like 4 lines, but I remember that, you know, and I think that's amazing when an actor has a little bit of nothing and he makes it his own and he can stand out. I at one point, don't quote me, but I think I saw a poster where this was a Robot Jocks movie. Full Moon had a line of robot movies called Robot Jocks, Robot Wars, and I believe this was technically supposed to be one of them.
It feels like it wasn't probably the same universe because that robot is very similar in design. Yeah.
And it was Dave Allen effects and things like that. So I think it was one of those things where, maybe I didn't watch the videos on. I don't know if it's on the streaming site, but it might be one of those things where last minute they're like, "Oh, you have to put a robot in this," and they're like, "Oh, but it's people being hunted in a factory. How are we going to do that?" And they probably had to find a way to, cram in a robot somehow, and that's why the robot really only lifts up a thing and steps on a dude. Yeah. I do want to mention the dude. That's Bill Moseley, as TC had mentioned. LD, you have to. I don't think you've seen it. But you have to watch Texas Chainsaw 2 because that's Bill Moseley's greatest role. He's Chop Top in that. And if you liked him in this, you'll love him in that because he's definitely kind of that kind of weird, goofy kind of guy, but also a cannibal. So there you go. A little bit of everything. It's not a great movie, but in the pantheon of Full Moon, I think it's a incredibly well made movie. By the way, we got bots. You can just remove those on the chat bar down there. All right. So in terms of moons, let me see. Do I want to say anything else? I guess we should. Well, we can talk spoilers. Bill Moseley turns out to be our robot. He turns out to be our killer, which is kind of obvious it was him, but I like how they kind of worked around it, and he cut his finger, but it was the coolant. Then the fat guy does it, and his hand gets infected. Like there's a lot of little interesting layers to that that maybe you don't pick up at first, but I really enjoyed that his hand gets like fat, and it's like I don't know. I thought that was good. I was surprised it happened kind of early on because I thought it was gonna be more of a whodunit kind of murder mystery, but then. Oh, he's the killer, and then now it's a killer movie, and that's fine. That works. He kind of did the Jason, Freddy Krueger thing. That was amazing. Bill Moseley's amazing in it. You get stop motion, robot action. You get boobs. I think it's a well-rounded Full Moon movie. Again, not amazing because it feels very small, but with the budget they probably had, it's as big as it's going to get. And I think they did a fantastic job. I'm going to go 4 moons. I'm probably going to be the highest rating, but maybe TC. I don't know. But I'm going to go 4 moons, man. I really like this movie.
All right. 4 moons from Master Chaos. TC, your final thoughts and your rating for Crash and Burn.
No, I mean, it's like MC said, it is considering, Full Moon overall, it's not a very big budget movie company. So, you get what you get. But for what it's worth, and again, I've said it before, but I feel like the movies they did back then compared to now, I think they're better made in its own way for me. Overall, it's one of my earlier favorites of the Full Moon franchise, Full Moon movies. So I'd probably have to go the same with MC with 4.
All right. That's 4 moons from TC. Lady Shasha, what do you give Crash and Burn?
I'm going to give it 3.5, but I will explain a little bit why. Like I had mentioned earlier, with the pacing, I felt like every scene went on just a little bit longer than it needed to be. I felt like the editing should have been tighter. I think Charles, with both movies tonight, Charles Band is really stuck on and these are short movies to begin with. They're like 85 minutes, but they really could be 75 minutes. I also love that Eva LaRue was in it. I was watching the movie and I was looking at her face going, where do I know her from? Where do I know her from? And I had to look her up to see where I knew her from. And it was from RoboCop 3. I know a lot of people like RoboCop 3. When I was a kid and it came out, I didn't like it. But watching it now, I'm like, it's not as bad as what people say it was. It wasn't that bad. It wasn't as great and amazing as the first 2, but it wasn't as awful as what people say it is. So I enjoyed seeing her there. And also I love the reveal of this, since we're talking spoilers, of her being the secondary robot or android. I thought that was a really great reveal. But I like the story in general. And like I said, I like the more horrific elements, especially how the main android, he just keeps getting more messed up before he actually expires. Like when he first gets shot in the head, and then he goes on to talk more shit after he got shot in the head. Like he's standing there for like minutes. I'm like, aren't you even hurt? No. And then towards the end, he really is kind of reminds you a little bit of Terminator, because he's got no legs. He's got about half an arm, and he's still crawling. He's still going to get that dude. I enjoy stuff like that. I like that they put the work into that, into whether they're using an animatronic, whether they're using a stunt person that has, or I should say, an amputee stunt person, because they used to use those a lot back in the day. I don't know if that's what they use, but they really put a lot of effort into these things. Like I said, with the car stunt, they could have put a dummy on the hood of that car, but they didn't. They put an actual person hanging off the hood of that car.
Yeah.
That's great.
Awesome.
Yeah.
All right. And as for me, I'm going to just about agree with Lady Shasha, and I'm going to give it 3 moons. I felt like the pacing could have been a lot better. And like I mentioned earlier, there could have been things that we could have seen. I feel like there are some elements that we needed to see that are just kind of alluded to. But overall, I still had a good time with this movie. I always love stuff about cyborgs and, what they go through and how they try to one up on the human race. I really enjoyed the story. I thought the story was great. And like I said earlier, I like that we discover things rather than have it thrust right in our faces. So overall, an enjoyable experience. I wouldn't say it would be in my top favorite. So 3 moons is what I'd give it.
I think I have to look back, but I think that's probably the highest ratings you've given any full moon movie so far.
I think so, probably.
No, I've given other stuff 3 moons before.
I've got to go back. I don't know.
Can I add one more thing? I wrote in my notes because it was about the gas station. For some reason, when I saw that gas station, I thought that this movie was filmed in New Zealand or Australia, because it looked like New Zealand or Australia. And then when I looked up the filming locations, it's Lone Pine, Alabama Hills, California, and Los Angeles, California. I didn't know that there were places in California that looked so much like Australia.
Oh yeah, we have a lot of desolate kind of desert areas out here. That's why California became the movie mecca.
My internet paused for a second. Did you hear the last part?
We heard you. Yeah,
we heard you. Yeah, California is the movie mecca because you can do so many things out here. You can do desert, beaches, snow. It works for every climate. So yeah, and if it's a full moon movie, most likely it's either filmed here or Romania. So
yeah. Oh man. All right. So that is our review for Crash and Burn. Again, if you're here for the first time, again, welcome. Hope you're enjoying the party, and feel free to like and subscribe. It helps me, and in some way, I'm sure it helps you. All right, everyone. Now we come to the moment I know you've all been waiting for.
Woo!
Our second film of our review. Our second movie is The Haunted Casino. Let's all now enjoy the trailer for The Haunted Casino.
This music is not from this movie. What is this from? Alien? What is this?
In Sin City, one man has inherited an old casino.
Uncle Franco Dragna. I guess I'm his only surviving relative.
What do you do with an old casino?
I think it'd be a cool place to hang out.
But some legacies will not be forgotten.
The anniversary of the Mysterio Massacre.
5 people were killed here that night. One of them was a mob guy named Roy Donahue.
He wants revenge because your uncle whacked him. Is that the deal?
I'm the last surviving one.
What they soon discover are phantoms of the past.
40 years ago, he did me wrong. I owe him.
They've returned to collect an old debt.
It's not a very good idea to make me angry.
God, let me out of here.
All you gotta do is win.
But in this casino, all bets are off.
We need to leave right now.
You also inherited your uncle's debts. I'm here to collect.
And the price of fortune is your soul.
Let me out of here!
Sounds like the house cut him off.
Featuring Michael Berryman.
You got a dead man's hand.
And Sid Haig in Dead Man's Hand, Casino of the Damned.
What? The movie changed.
Yeah, so apparently this movie has two possible titles: The Haunted Casino, aka Dead Man's Hand. So this classic film from 2007 is directed by Charles Band, written by Dominic Muir, starring Wes Armstrong, Michael Berryman, and Kristen Green. I'm sure it's a classic film that has won so many hearts in 2007. So why don't we go ahead and isn't that a great looking guy right there? Look at that guy. That's a face that not even a mother could love.
That's a leftover Ginger Dead Man mask, apparently.
Kind of, yeah, absolutely. Read the plot for us there, LD.
Sure, you got it. So, after Matthew Dragna inherits a rundown old casino from his deceased uncle, Matthew, his loyal girlfriend JJ, and several other friends decide to check the place out. Alas, the casino turns out to be haunted by the lethal and angry ghosts of vicious Las Vegas mobster Roy the Word Donahue and his equally pernicious flunky Gil Wacheta, or however the heck you pronounce that. All right, so without further ado, let's go ahead and start our reviews with Haunted Casino, aka Dead Man's Hand. And we'll go in reverse order now. So we'll start with Lady Shasha. What have you got to say for Haunted Casino? You appear to be muted.
I knew I was going to do that eventually. This one tested my patience because, like I said, with the pacing of the other one, there were scenes that went on for so long, and I'm like, this scene could have ended right here, and we could have gone on to the next thing. But I can say I really enjoyed some of the dialogue. I was laughing at things that probably weren't appropriate to laugh at, but I still laughed at them. Like at one point, there's a character that says, she's just an American Idol reject. What does that bitch know? I don't know why that was funny to me, but it was. Also, some of the gore here, and I really appreciate how they did so much with so little. The opening kill really, really got me because, I should say the second to the opening one, because the first person I got was like a janitor. The second person was a lady, but you just see this door and you see like a glass window, and it's meant to be her head being, smashed against this window till it breaks, but clearly it's a wig. Someone smacking the window with a wig.
I caught that too, yeah.
And then to have the blood drip down, and I respect it though. It was fun. I enjoy stuff like that because I would rather see that than I was saying to somebody earlier. This is where some of the newer production companies get things a little bit wrong. I'm talking about production companies like Wild Eye, where they'll do a similar movie, but because they leave the gore out, because they think that, we don't have a big enough budget, we'll just leave the gore completely out. That kind of makes the movie more boring. I'd rather see cheaply done gore than no gore at all.
Yeah.
Fair, that's fair.
There's still some fun there. And then also, like Mr. Dan and Horror was saying in the comments, Sid Haig, and I keep wanting to call him John, but it's Michael Berryman. Mm-hmm. They are like all stars. Especially, I know Sid Haig actually more so from a lot of blaxploitation movies he was in when he was very young.
Oh, yeah.
And then again when he came through the Rob Zombie movies like House of a Thousand Corpses and The Devil's Rejects and stuff like that. So he's definitely an all-star. Yeah. But yeah, I enjoyed it. I thought that it was not going to be good at all because some of the 2000, I typically like when it comes to Full Moon more the 90s than the 2000 era of Full Moon.
Yeah.
But this one actually wasn't bad for 2007.
Yeah.
Yeah. And according to Mr. Dan in Horror, Haig, Berryman, a winning combination.
Yeah, if they're used correctly. But
all right.
Yeah, Berryman was more of a cameo than an actual character.
Yeah.
Totally.
Like
totally.
Yeah, like 4 lines or something, maybe.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
right,
something
boss.
like that.
That's right,
Yeah.
boss. Yeah,
all right. TC, talk to us about how you felt about Haunted Casino, aka Dead Man's Hand.
Well, I think it's ironic that the first movie is called Crash and Burn, and yet this movie's the one that crashed and burned for me. But bum. No, I'll be fair. It is better than I thought it was gonna be. That being said, I mean, I just don't. I feel bad that this is like under the Full Moon umbrella, because this feels like these movies that they've made should be under somebody else's name. Like, it doesn't feel like it's like it should be Full Moon, but unfortunately it is. I mean, it was okay. It was a bit it dragged on a little bit. I didn't really care for the effects too much. Like the gore, yes, but like when that blackjack dealer turned into, I don't know what the hell that was, that skinny faced whatever, and
I think it was supposed to be like a playing card character.
Yeah.
I don't know.
It was supposed to be a jack. Yeah.
It's a jack, all right. And what else was it? I mean, and then
There was.
the
Don't
ghost
forget
girl.
the lady,
Yeah,
the ghost girl.
Yeah,
I called
she-
her. I called it. She went Ghostbusters librarian.
Yeah.
No,
If
not
you
even-
were to get-
No. She didn't. She turned into some kind of animatronic from a cheap haunted house. It's like,
Yeah, with slot eyes.
with slot eyes. I don't know, man. It was whatever. I mean, I wish the movie was haunted with quality. That would have been good.
Yeah.
Good quality, but
That
it
would've
was
been great.
not. So I don't know. I didn't like it too much. I mean, I went in with a tried to go in positively because I don't really like their new versions of movies, and it was better than I expected it to be. However, I don't know. It didn't really win me over that much.
Okay.
So yeah, it's whatever. I saw that first on purpose because I kind of knew it was gonna fall on his face for me. So
All right.
yeah.
Tony Man 100, Lady Shasha, the gore connoisseur. So you got a little shout out there.
Thank
There
you.
you go.
All right. MC, talk to us about your thoughts and feelings about Haunted Casino.
Haunted Casino was around the time that I said I'm done with Full Moon. I'm not. They were putting out
Yeah.
stupid shit like Blood Dolls, Pimp Doll, whatever the hell it was called.
Yeah.
It's like, this is just stupid. I'm done. I have no interest in this. And then LD said, "Let's watch it," and I go, "All right." I'm happy to say that I was right. I did not like this. As a matter of fact, this is probably one of the most disappointing ones I've seen in a while.
Wait, don't worry. There's still more.
There's still. Oh well, I mean, so far anyway. So far it's disappointing. Let me look at the notes real quick. Okay, so I wrote down, take your basic haunted house story set in a dusty casino, then basically rip off Night of the Demons, minus the nudity, interesting characters, and great effects, and bingo, you have this movie. When the shit hits the fan, everything becomes incredibly disappointing and lackluster. It takes about 50 minutes for this movie to finally stop talking and get to what we've come here, the haunted casino part. And when we get to the haunted casino part, it's just a fucking dude playing cards, and then Michael Berryman and saying, "Hey, come in." I mean, look, I've made movies like this. This is definitely a 6-day movie, if that, maybe 4 days. One location, a bunch of actors. You bring in your name actors for a day. They stand there. They say a couple lines. Okay, goodbye. I mean, they literally could have filmed in half a day. They're in the same room, same clothes, and they have. I mean, I think Sid definitely has more to say, but none of it is over 20 lines, I think. So, they're in and out in half a day. They're technically in the movie, but they do nothing. They do none of the kills. They're just there. Ha ha ha. You owe us money. We're looking for silver. I don't know why we care about silver, because we're ghosts. Whatever. Stupid.
Yeah.
But this reeks of super low budget. Directed by Charlie Band, starring his girlfriend, who is cute. Robin Sidney is attractive, and I don't think she's terrible in the movie.
That's his girlfriend?
That's his girlfriend, yeah.
Wow.
He got divorced.
Not anymore.
Oh, no, they're still together. They've been together for a while.
Oh, really?
Yeah, that actually might be the first movie she's in. Maybe not, but she's been in a ton of Full Moon movies. I'm sure we'll run into her again in a future episode. Anyway, she's not bad. She's not bad. But the problem with the movie is that there's no script. It's basically people sitting around, the stupid young teenage 20-somethings talking about, oh, I want to get laid, I want to get rich, I want to get drunk, stupid crap. It's all emptiness that we've seen before. Nothing interesting. I did like the stuff about, my uncle had the casino, and there's this whole thing about, maybe we'll start a business. I thought that was an interesting element. But then we got scene after scene of that. Like, all right, we get it. Let's get to the ghosty stuff. Then the ghosty stuff happens, and it's so underwhelming. Like, yes, we get this horny girl, and where's the nudity? I'm sorry, was he shooting this for Disney Plus? What the shit? Even Crash and Burn had nudity. I mean, not everybody, and not every movie needs it, but this movie, I think specifically, I mean, he's even said it. You need elements like that in a movie.
Even, especially the way these characters carried on about sex, to the point where one of them was faking he's banging on the wall.
Right. Yeah, and then that ghost girl shows up. Like, maybe if she got naked, it'd be like, that inspired him or something like that. Like, I feel like it was needed just to spice up the movie, because the movie's really drab, in my opinion. It's almost neutered. I don't know if it was cut back, but it feels like there may be a better version of this movie somewhere, or maybe Charlie Band just didn't want to do that, or just didn't know how to do that. I don't know. I won't speak for him, because I am a fan of his work, but here I feel he phoned it in. It's a very boring movie. The direction is very shoddy. And I don't like the cast. I don't like the effects. I think the girl turning into that demon was great, and then they had to go fuck it up and give her the stupid slot machine eyes. What? Yeah, dumb. Dumb, dude. And then the guy dealing cards. Okay, so now it's like Full Moon's Casino Royale. My least favorite parts of that movie is when he's playing cards. Casino Royale. But anyway, in here, they're playing cards, and that's our big monsters are going to kill you playing cards kind of thing. Not interesting. And then he turned to the stupid faces and the heads. Dumb. Don't do that.
Broken or something.
It's like, Charles Band, don't do that. I know you have a fetish for these things. Don't, man. It doesn't look good. Move away from that stuff. It's embarrassing.
It's sad, man. Yeah.
And then the ending. Well, we'll get to the ending on my second round, but I feel like this movie was boring, uninteresting, and I couldn't give two shits. So the complete opposite from Crash and Burn for me. Those are my initial thoughts.
I don't feel so bad now, because I thought it was me that I wasn't paying attention to the plot, like close enough to the plot. But according to you, there wasn't one.
And you know what's sad too, that that original title I think was better than The Haunted Casino. It sounds so stupid. It sounds so like
I agree,
movie, like kiddie movie, dollar store movie title. It's like that first one, Dead Man's Hand, sounds cooler. Oh no, I got an idea. The movie's too stupid. Let's give it a stupid title to kind of match it.
It has two titles, because Charles Band would do tricky things on streaming services.
Right.
He would release the same movie with two different names, so that he could have the movie out twice. That's why it exists.
It can suck twice.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think he has a Dolls movie that has like 3 different names: Hideous, Blood Dolls, and then something else. They're all the same movie.
Oh,
but
really?
it's just one of those things where you're like, dude, that's so shady. But it's like, I don't know why he does it. I mean, he does it because he thinks he'll make more money, and maybe he does, but I think it works against the brand, in my opinion.
Yeah. Adam Horror Guy says, I love Ginger Dead Man.
Well, you're the one.
That's you.
I'm glad we found you.
There's the one guy. Okay. So now it goes.
Ginger Dead Man.
Okay, that's 2.
I said it makes a great double feature with Jack Frost.
Yeah, right. I could see that.
Yeah. All right, and now it's back to me. So here's how I'm going to start this review off. I started off hopeful for this film. I'll be honest. When I saw the trailer, I was a bit hopeful. And I remember, MC, you once made a comment on one of your earlier videos, and I take it to heart. You said that when you watch a movie, you start on the movie side, and you want the movie to win.
Yeah.
So I had that same mentality going into this. This movie quickly got me away from their side as far as possible. And I have to be the one to apologize, because this was my pick. I saw the trailer, and I'm like, okay, this is going to be fun. And when I announced it on last month's Full Moon Fright Club, I heard all the groans from everyone going, "Ah, shit!" And here I am being optimistic, going, "Oh, come on, guys, give it a chance. It'll be great." And then I watched the movie, and I'm like, I fucked up. This is the last time I host one of these, I guess.
Yes, it is.
It took such a long time for it to get anywhere. I don't really have a problem that it's in one location, and if it's done well, fine, you can do that. But man, this movie dragged along. There's more talking than there are kills. I thought it was really dumb how the guy has to convince his girlfriend to pretend that they're having like wicked sex. And it's like, you could just tell your friends, we just had great sex. Why do you have to, coerce your girlfriend into pretending?
And they keep pushing it and pushing it and pushing it. It's like, Jesus.
Yeah. They had to do it like 2 or 3 times in the movie. And it's like, way too long. The ghost girl, I didn't understand what the hell her deal was. I wasn't sure if she wanted the teenagers to win, or if she was trying to trick them with the old monster guys. I was so lost with that. And when she turned into a ghost, the ghost was cool, but then of course they add the slot eyes, and of course what comes up? Skull and crossbones. And it's like, what the hell is this?
Is that not a typical slot figure? It's the cherries. Then it's the skull and crossbones, right? Isn't that the...
Yeah. Oh, and here's another thing that pissed me off. In the beginning of the movie, the girl, I guess you can kind of consider her the lead girl, but she plays one of the slot machines and she gets a cherry, and a bell, and she goes, "I won!" And I'm like, no, you fucking didn't, all right? You didn't win. Do you not know how to play slot machines? You have to get 3 of the same things. That's how they work.
Wow.
And they also didn't know how to play blackjack correctly either. Only the dealers has one card that's face down. For the players, your cards are always face up. It's like, you could have researched this stuff, all right?
That was another thing that was a little annoying. That the smart girl, like she tried to push that too much. Like she was super super smart, and I didn't believe it.
Yeah, lesbian Velma. That's what I call her.
She knew everything. It's like, no, man.
Wasn't that like a perfect setup? Like, I didn't know you were interested in my pictures.
Yeah, right there.
Can I get a link to your website?
Yeah,
I can
link
do better
it.
than that. Then do better, movie.
I thought that was gonna go somewhere. That would have been a perfect opening for a scene. Bro.
Right. That's what I'm saying. I feel like maybe it was edited out or something. It's weird.
Yeah, it's like they threw that in and then they never brought it back ever again. It served no purpose whatsoever. It just ends on, well, I could do better than that, and cut to. And it's like, okay, what the hell? I did get some satisfaction when the band guy got his dick cut off.
Mm-hmm.
So and I don't know if it's just me, but it looks like he's clearly holding the hose that's spraying him with blood.
That's what it looks like.
I'm sure. Yeah.
So yeah, this was not to be punny, but this was a big crash and burn for me. I was very hopeful about this, but man, oh man, oh man, man, oh man, oh man. And like you said, MC, the ghosts, they just kind of walk in. They don't like materialize. They kind of do at the very end, but it's just like they just kind of walk in. Hey, we're ghosts, and why do? Yeah, like you said, MC. Why do ghosts care about silver? What are they going to do? Are you going to buy condos in hell? I mean, I don't. Oh gosh, I could go on and on, but that pretty much gives you my take on Haunted Casino. From Mr. Dan in Horror. That's like when you see a chessboard the wrong way in movies. Drives me nuts.
Oh yeah.
Yes, absolutely. I totally get you. From Eric Shosted, Full Moon features aren't known for their high quality. They're mostly known for stuff you watch while you're high.
Well, now they are, but they used to
Now
be.
they are.
They've become Evil Bong, but they used to be Castle Freak.
Yeah, exactly.
I mean, it's anybody can notice if you get one movie, anyone from the 2000s and one from the 90s, you can see they're two totally different universes. It's like completely different companies, even though it's run by the same guy. Although I guess I don't know if it was because Paramount had some connection before that they had just better stuff. I don't know, but ever since they lost that connection, they seem to have gone downhill.
Well, they lost the money. I mean, maybe it was the fact that it was on streaming, but did it look like it was shot on video to you guys? At first, I'm like, oh my god,
it did. Yes, it did.
Like
I noticed
high
that.
definition video or something.
Yeah.
I still don't know because it just looked blurry to me, but it didn't look good, and it was everything was dark. It looked like they had like 3 lights. It just smacked of them making a super cheap movie in like over a weekend kind of a movie, and it's not fun. And if you want to do that, but deliver something fun. People sitting around talking, not fun unless it's an interesting story. I watched a movie that takes place in one apartment, and it's one of the most tense things I've ever seen. But the writing is good, the characters are good. This is just we've seen this shit over and over and over again, and putting Sid Haig in a tuxedo and having him go, now you're gonna pay. I'm a gangster. Stupid. That doesn't do anything. He doesn't do anything. He didn't kill anybody. I don't know. It's very disappointing.
Right.
Very disappointed.
Yeah. Let me answer a question from Tony Man 100. Since I left halfway through, did anyone actually have a dead man hand? 2 aces and 2 eights while playing poker. Yes, they actually did, Tony Man 100, at the very end of the film. There was a dead man's hand, and I think they even said, "Oh, you have a dead man's hand."
Yeah.
Okay. Well, this was a dead man movie. Let's go ahead now to our ratings, and I think I kind of have an idea of how many moons everyone's gonna. Yeah, 5 movies. Yeah,
we're all 5, right? 5 moons.
Yeah, hands down. Starting again with Lady Shasha. How many moons do you give Haunted Casino?
2 moons. 1 for the wig up against the window, and 2 and 2 for all of the Halloween store fake cobwebs that they failed to spread evenly. all over the slot machines that had those the packs that you can get the cobwebs for $1.99 from the Halloween store or someplace, and you just spread them out. They had them all over the place, and I'm like, this is the set decoration.
Yep.
Oh my gosh! All right, thank you, Lady Shasha. TC, go for it.
On my end, let's put it this way: the sun is out, the clouds are out, the birds are singing. There's no moons in the sky, baby. Nothing at all, man. Zero.
Wow.
You know you can give it 0.
The birds are singing at night. I guess night birds. Yeah.
No, I said the sun is out, blue skies. There's no moons. Man.
Oh, gotcha.
Gotcha. All right. MC, what do you give Haunted Casino?
Well, kind of now I want to give it 0, but
go ahead. Don't feel bad.
The more I think about it, no, I'll go with my original review. A couple things I just wanted to mention. I saw this movie like at 4 a.m. in my review. I don't remember writing this, but I said this movie feels as dull as dry dinosaur dicks.
Oh.
And, I don't remember writing that.
I heard that was an issue during the Jurassic Park behind the scenes. A lot of problems with that.
Let me get the KY over here quick. So the movie's really boring. Sid Haig and Michael Berryman, titans of terror. Hills Have Eyes, Spider Baby. By the way, go see Spider Baby, Lady Shasha, if you haven't seen that. Jack Hill did a lot of blaxploitation as well. But Sid Haig is in that. He's amazing. It's a great movie.
Make a note. I'm gonna watch that.
Spider Baby. It's a classic. It was so great. They're in there because they sell tickets for lack of a better word. People see that on the box. Oh shit, Michael Berryman. I said, hey, I know those guys. I'll pick that up. But the movie is a bait and switch. It's basically young people walking around and talking, and it's not interesting. And I think if you're gonna do that, you should give us something to compel us to keep watching. The movie doesn't compel you to keep watching. It doesn't even throw in that much gore and or nudity, which is what these movies kind of thrive on sometimes. And there's nothing in here like I saw in Crash and Burn that really made me feel like these characters were fully realized or existed in their own world. It felt like they were just cookie cuttered to fit this whatever the screenwriter needed to concoct. And I think Charles Band thinks that faking the orgasm is funny. That's why they did it so much. Yeah, and I'm not a fan of his humor, but or his puppets. I really don't get the puppet thing. I think he's just really into that. Yeah. The movie overall is completely disappointing, but I won't knock it too bad. But I am going to go with one Soul Lonely Moon.
All right. Thank you, MC.
Yeah.
And as for me, I'm definitely going to join the club. I'm going to give this just one single solitary moon. I can't even say it has a good premise either. It's just kind of like, hey, we got a little bit of money. Let's make a horror movie. Okay, what do you want to make it on? Well, hey, there's an old casino. Let's put ghosts in there. Okay, well, we're gonna need people. All right, well, we'll bring Sid Haig in, and that'll sell. We don't have the money to have him do anything else. Well, let's just give him a line or two and give him a nice suit.
Yeah, they really should have put more money into this. I'm sorry. I'll hold my thought until you finish. Sorry.
That's okay. I was kind of gonna say that if they had more money, this probably would have turned out better. I always hate it when they make, and I think Full Moon does this quite a bit, when they make teenagers, or not teenagers, but like college kids, always have to curse for cursing's sake. Mm-hmm. If you could write it in a way where it comes out, it seems natural, then yeah. But here it was like the smart girl goes, "Get your hands off of me, fucker." It's like
pause.
It's like I'm sorry, normal people don't talk like that, and normal people definitely don't talk like the way these people talked in the film. Overall, it just didn't look good. It's 2007, but it doesn't feel like a 2007 movie.
Yeah.
I had to keep reminding myself that this was made in 2007 because it looks like mid-90s, quite frankly, from the quality. Yeah, one moon. That's all I'm going to give it. Any other final thoughts on Haunted Casino before we let it stay buried?
Yeah, what I was going to say about them needing more money. The way, I'm rewriting it in my head. I'm like, the way that they should have done is, number one, age up these people, make them late 20s. And then, because you have the main character who's trying to rehabilitate the casino that his uncle owned. That's something you probably wouldn't do at college age anyways. You'd be a little bit older, maybe even mid-30s. You have them go there and only have maybe the first 20 minutes of the movie, they rehab the casino. The rest of the movie, the casino's reopened. Then you have the ghosts come and attack all the new guests at the casino. Then that makes for a much more interesting movie.
Yes, but you have
Absolutely.
to understand, Full Moon had maybe $20,000 to make this movie.
Yeah, that's why I said it comes down to money.
Yeah,
$20.
Well,
Which they won at a casino.
And that was Sid's and Michael's lunch, and that's it.
That was pretty much it. Yeah, no.
Yeah.
Here's the thing: the market is so hard, especially back then. You can't sink $1 million into a movie like they used to because you're not going to make the money back. So Charles Band, I think he should have tailored his script for a smaller budget. Obviously they didn't even have a full casino; they had a couple of machines, and they're in a dark room, so it's not even a real casino. But he knows how much he can shoot the movie for, and then at least recoup his money on it. And so that's why the movies suffer. And instead of shooting for what you have, they try to make it a little bigger, make it seem a little bigger, but it just comes off as cheap because you can't do that on such a tight budget. What I can only imagine is a very tight schedule. So there's a lot of real world issues as to why this movie couldn't have more money or play better, but at the same time, then don't make this movie. Do something else. Do something that you think that you can afford. That would be, better. I shot a movie in 6 days, and our budget was $100,000. I was tight, but my goal was to make it not look like it was shot in 6 days. This thing looks like it was shot over a weekend. and that's not great. You don't want your movie to feel like it was a rushed product, but it feels like a rushed product because it's missing all these ingredients and it's missing all this kind of this texture that makes it feel lived in. Yes, it's a one location movie, but it doesn't have to feel like a rushed cheapo production. And I think sometimes, at least in the 2000s, companies like this were suffering from that that aesthetic. And of course, that's when the stigma begins, and that's why Full Moon starts dropping in quality. And now they are still making movies in I know for a fact 4 to 5 days in one location. They're still doing that, and the budgets are very small. But I think they're smart enough to work it into their budget. Oh, no worries. They're smart enough to work it into the script so that it feels like it was meant to be that way, instead of shoehorning something bigger into a little shoebox.
And it also just kind of ends, abruptly. We don't really see any conclusion. It just kind of just ends. Okay, I lost the card game. Oh, thank God that's over, and it's done. It's like they didn't even have enough money to give it a proper ending.
It was always fuck it, movie's over.
Exactly. Here's what TonyMan100 says. I gave this movie one full moon, and then I pulled up my Panta. I think he meant to say pants.
My Panta.
Oh, goodness.
Good to know. You share Asta Films. Fantastic.
Yeah. Well, folks, that ends episode 4 of the Full Moon Fright Club. We hope you had a good time. Let's look ahead to the future now. So, MC, who is going to be the host for our next episode of Full Moon Fright Club? It's going to be Lady Shasha.
So what do we got? What do we got on deck for us for next month?
Haunted Casino 2.
No. I mean, prepare yourselves to groan because if you can't tell, I like doll movies. So
I know what she chose. I know what she chose.
So I definitely chose Puppet Master and Demonic Toys.
Oh my God. Excellent. Yes.
Excellent. Yeah.
Puppet Master
1?
Yes, the first one.
All right,
the original. Cool. It was hard. I was going back and forth between the first one and the second one because I really like the second one too, but I want to revisit the original, the one that started it all.
Actually, I'm glad you chose Demonic Toys because that helps me with my choice, future choice. So thanks.
Okay.
Great. I'm 100% looking forward to that. I guess we'll pick a date off air, and then we'll let everybody know. This is going to be on Lady Shasha's channel, and it'll be in the new year. So stay tuned for all that. Good job, LD, on your first live.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Smoothly.
Thank you so much. I was kind of nervous about this because this is my first live broadcast, but I think it all went very well. And thanks, MC, for helping me out. Yeah, Mr. Dan and Horror, cool. I've never seen Demonic Toys.
Oh man. Okay. Good.
Well, you're in for a fun ride, Mr. Dan and Horror. So before we say goodnight, we want to encourage you to follow not just LD Madeira Magic, but also Master Chaos. Master Chaos, why don't you let us know what you got coming up on the old YouTube channels?
Oh gosh. Tomorrow, Monday, there's a Mail Day Monday. The final Vinegar Syndrome package is in from Black Friday, so I'll be doing a big old unboxing with Mr. Chaos. Then I'm not hosting any of the live panels, and I think this month because they're all on different channels. But I'll be over on OGP's channel for Voyage to the Bottom of the Barrel, and then I am on the 13th. I'm hosting All the Colors of the Dork. We're going to be looking at 2 foreign horror films. Shivers of the Vampire and Black Belly of the Tarantula. So we'll be watching that. Well, not live. We'll be watching and then discussing it on the 13th on my channel. And then on the 28th, the last episode of the year for Voyage will be on My Killer Podcast, Mel's channel. And then whatever, random reviews here and there. I don't know what I really have planned for December. I'm just going to let it happen organically.
Cool. All right, Bumpy Jonas. Great job hosting, LD. Thank you so much, Bumpy Jonas. I really appreciate that. And TonyMan100, great job hosting. You did awesome. Thanks so much, Tony Man. You did awesome for your great comments. And Lady Shasha, tell us what you got coming up on YouTube.
Well, tomorrow, as most Mondays, I'm a co-host on Hood Podcast, where we talk about news of the strange and all things geek culture. Just last week, we just finished reviewing Andor as a series, and then we talked about, the actual bear that the new horror movie Cocaine Bear is based off of. There actually was a bear that unfortunately got into some cocaine, so we do stories like that on my channel. I have more reviews coming up. I'm trying to decide what I'm going to do special for Christmas. Usually I'll either do like a 12 days of Christmas horror, or I'll do a dollathon. And I haven't decided which one I want to do, because I want to do both. I might mix them together, but I have that coming up. And then on my other channel, Fashion Freak TV, I've been wrapping up the 90 Day Fiance reviews, because that's just a train wreck that I can't stop watching. And and apparently there's a new Bravo has their own version of 90 Day called Love Without Borders, which is basically going to be another 90 Day Fiance. And I've been also reviewing, or I'm going to start reviewing this Korean dating show. What is it called? Ramyeon and Chill. It's interesting. It's very interesting, and it's hosted on YouTube. It's actually an actual group of YouTube guys named Danny Kim and Daniel Kim that made their own reality show. They crowdfunded it and just made their own reality show on this beautiful island on Korea, and it's international dating, so there's people there from different countries. But it's a very interesting show, and it's kind of wholesome compared to like the way American dating shows are.
All right, cool. All right, well, that's just going to about wrap it up. Thank you, Master Chaos. Thank you, Tracker Chaos. Thank you, Lady Shasha. And thanks for all of you for watching. We'll see you next time on Full Moon Fright Club. Happy holidays to all. And on behalf of myself and everyone, thanks for watching, and have a good evening, everybody.